Mark Riebe, as a person, is a narcissistic and manipulative evil being who may even believe his own lies. Mark Riebe, as a killer, is a sociopathic, sadistic, and evil thrill killer who can be compared to the likes of Ted Bundy and who lacked regard for the value of human lives, especially women. Investigators know Riebe confessed to killing 12 women, and there are about 8 they believe for sure that he is responsible for. Riebe gave an exclusive interview from the maximum security prison, Blackwater River Correctional Facility in Milton, Florida, with Piers Morgan in 2018, which you can watch on Netflix's Serial Killer with Piers Morgan. In episode 1, and because Riebe is known to be a liar as he is suspected of being one of Northwest Florida's most prolific serial killers, Special Agent Dennis Haley warns that Mark will try to control you. He'll try to manipulate and control your interview. Haley goes on to say, it's time to give the family some answers, and if there is any decency in you, this is the time to do it. Unfortunately, that's the problem. There is no decency in Mark Riebe, and you can tell by watching the interview. When he talks about the killing of Donna Callahan and is asked about the other victims, Piers clearly asks about his feelings on the murders, and Riebe basically remains elusive when giving a straight answer and gives off the vibe that the murders really mean nothing to him. This interview was conducted in 2018. As of now, Riebe has already served 24 years of a 25 years to life sentence. Could he possibly come up for parole? But authorities say he will never see the light of day outside of prison again, and I certainly hope that is true, as I live only 8 miles where he is doing time today. Mark Riebe is a serial killer that confessed to murdering 13 women, but later retracted his confessions. We are here, me and Lisa, at the Blackwater River Correctional Facility. If you've watched Netflix's Piers Morgan, Serial Killer, there are 4 episodes. That first episode talks about a man named Mark Riebe who confessed to killing one lady named Donna Callahan. In 1989, he abducted her from Gulf Breeze from a convenience store in 1989. Then he drove, him and his brother actually both abducted her, and his brother admitted to somebody when he was doing some time in prison somewhere else, and the prisoner told on him, snitched on him or whatever, and so that's how they got caught for the murder of Donna Callahan. She was missing for like 3 years, and you can talk if you want to.
Oh, well, she was pregnant at the time.
That's
too.
right. That's right. Thank you. See, that's why I need you to speak up, because I'm trying to think of the details as we go. So that's right. That's right. She was. No, you can speak. She was actually pregnant at the time too. So Mark Riebe, who has been incarcerated for the rest of his life here. This is where he lives, about 10 minutes away from where I live. This is where he now resides. He was originally from Defuniak Springs. That's where he took her body and he buried it on some of his property of his family's, on some farm property in Defuniak Springs. So when his brother ratted him out, they sure enough found her buried there. And once he was arrested, he admitted to killing 13 women in total, okay?
And one was a child.
Yes, one was like 14 years old. And so once he was in prison, he did admit it, but then he retracted it.
He recanted.
Yes. And he Piers Morgan tried to get him to, you know, refresh his memory. Don't you remember, you know, talking about confessing to these murders? Oh, no, I don't know any of those women. I'm only in here for this one. And he didn't even admit to killing Donna Callahan. He said his brother did it. Well, his brother's the one that turned him in. His brother's the one that told the details. I believe his brother more than I believe Mark Riebe. And I do believe, and so do the police. They believe he is definitely a serial killer.
Well, he
and killed all those women.
He had information that only the killer would know.
Yes. Okay, folks, I want everybody to know we had to cut that video short, and Miss Lisa here is going to tell you why.
Well, he passed us, and he was going out.
While we're at the
And
prison.
he started backing up, and I said, uh-oh, we're in trouble. He was a nice guy. He could have been a total rear end, but he just told us we're not allowed to video the prison, and we're like, well, we read the sign on entrance. Don't say nothing about videotaping, so we really didn't think we were doing anything wrong. So he basically chased us off.
Yeah, he asked me if I videoed, and I was like, we just told you what I do, so there's your answer. I said, but we'll leave. I mean, I already got plenty of footage of the prison, so we decided to come over here to the river, which, if you look right behind Lisa over here, right in that direction, and I'll get a closer shot up in a little bit, that is the courthouse that Mark Riebe was tried and convicted. Lisa, you can, I don't know if you want to walk around this way or whatever, but we'll take a little hike. I've already been to the river and done a little shot around here, but to get a better view of, plus I get, you know, to show you the beautiful river again this way.
That's the last look of freedom they get on the way to prison.
Yep. He just kind of
We were
stopped us. So that,
talking about all the other ones, and he recanted his testimony.
yeah, I probably will cut him out of the video since, you know.
I don't think we can. Just
I mean, maybe his truck
Throw his
pulling
face
up or
up.
something, but
put a video thing over his face.
yeah, I like blur him out. But yeah, he didn't even ask my name. I would have been like, is that even necessary? I mean, is that within your rights? I don't know. But yeah, there's some pretty flowers. I said, I took a video down here before, and there's the river. That's Blackwater River, and where we were at is called Blackwater River Correctional Facility. The courthouse right there in front. Now it's weird. Mark Riebe, a serial killer, who's only in prison for the one murder. Oops, I almost tripped. He was convicted here. This is the Santa Rosa County Veterans Memorial Plaza, which I took video in there a couple weeks ago. And we can walk around here though. And, hello. But that's the courthouse, a little closer. And there's lots of stuff to do down here. They do, and that's where they do Blackwater, bands on Blackwater or something like that. There's a liquor store. I think that's a liquor store.
It used to be.
Or it used to be. Now it's bikers clothing and accessories. So if you're a biker and you live in Milton or anywhere near here, here is a bebrazzled leather bikers clothing and accessories. But that used to be the bar,
Used
right?
to be Doc's.
Or the
Doc's
liquor store and a bar.
It was a bar. Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually walk behind here too. Behind there's all kinds of
And they had food
little
down there.
businesses and
The basement part of
restaurants
it, they
and
cooked.
lawyer offices,
It was
of
a
course.
nicer bar downstairs.
Like I said, again, there's the courthouse and where Mark Riebe was convicted of the murder of Donna Callahan, which his brother was also convicted. Both are serving life sentences. I'm not sure where his brother is serving, but where we were just at and got kicked out, that's the home of Mark Riebe now, so where he needs to be.
Yep.
And he needs to come off of those other murders that he confessed to begin with, and then retracted his confessions, and give those families peace.
I agree.
And at least, you know, say
Where they're at.
you know, let me tell you where they're at. They're probably all buried out in Defuniak Springs. That's where she was buried. So
That's where his properties are.
we are in Defuniak Springs. Say hello,
Hi.
Lisa. Why are we in Defuniak Springs, Lisa?
Well, we are investigating this serial killer in this area.
What was his name?
I don't remember.
Mark Riebe.
Yeah, Mark Riebe.
We got kicked out of the prison parking lot where he lives now.
Yes,
in
we
my
did.
hometown, so we had to come to his hometown so that we could just, I mean, I don't know where he lived, but I just, you know, if I'm gonna do the video, the documentary, I'm gonna come to his hometown, and I'm
we're
gonna
here.
film his hometown. So
we're
we're
here.
right here in downtown at the depot, and I'm gonna come around here, and you know, he still has, this is the depot, he still has victims out there. I don't care what he says. The police believe that he does, and who knows, his victims could be buried here. The ones that are still missing, the ones that he admitted to and then turned around and later said, no, I didn't do those. Well, he needs to come off of it, and he's in there for life, and he needs to tell these families where their loved ones are. So, you know, I just figured we would come and to Defuniak. It's about an hour from where I live in Milton, where he lives now, in the prison where we got kicked out from the parking lot just because the guy lied and said, oh yeah, that sign back there says no video, and it didn't say that. But I was like, well, I mean, we're good, we can go. I mean, I got my video. And then there's this beautiful like lake down here. Let's see a gazebo. I don't know if you can see that. Let's zoom in. See that down there? I don't even know if I've ever been to Defuniak Springs before. I do know that according to the documentary, he lived sort of like on a farm of his family's. So if we can just find a farm, you know, that'd be good enough for me, just to be like, you know, it'd be a place like this where, you know, can you imagine? I mean, from Gulf Breeze, they brought Donna Callahan's body. See Defuniak Springs? All the way here. And then buried her on their property. And she was there for 3 years before his brother, who I read confessed to a chaplain in prison, and another inmate overheard, and then he told on him. So he ended up being the one to confess. What's going on, everybody? I am at Rose Lawn Cemetery in Gulf Breeze, Florida. Back in 1989, Donna Callahan, who was Mark Riebe's victim, him and his brother had kidnapped her from the junior food store she worked at here in Gulf Breeze. And I'm going to show you her grave and pay my respects here. So I've only been here for about 5 minutes. It didn't take me very long, and I can't believe with all these low to the ground markers that I even found it that fast, but I did. So I'm going to take you and show you. But he actually kidnapped her from that store in Gulf Breeze where she worked, him and his brother. And then on the way to Defuniak Springs, where he lived, he actually buried her body on some property that the family owned about 75 miles northeast of Defuniak Springs. And here's her grave. Donna Susan Callahan, beloved daughter and mother, 1960 to 1989. I know my shadow is showing up. I'm trying to get it out of there. Get a good shot of it without me. So, you know, it was like several years later before they even found her body. And the brother supposedly confessed to a chaplain in prison. He had been arrested for some other charge, and while he was in prison and confessed to that chaplain, another inmate overheard him talking about the murder, and that's how they caught Mark Riebe. And if you watch Netflix's Serial Killers with Piers Morgan, it's the very first episode. And here's the funeral home over here. So yeah, the grave of the murder victim, Donna Callahan. Another one gone too soon, and another one violently taken from this world. Rest in peace, Donna. This is the store on Ballax Avenue where she was abducted. I'm going to try to see if I can get through here and do a video without somebody yelling at me. Right here. This is the store. And there is somebody out here. So. But we're just going to do a quick drive-by. This was once a junior food store. It is now a U-Haul rental place.